Welcome back, everybody. Today, I'm excited to share with you my Hasbro selfie series, Selfie. Let's check it out. All right, so we're going to start out today looking at the figure itself. I'll give you my thoughts on the portrait, and then we're going to go through the process of actually making your own Hasbro selfie, which is a really smooth and really fast process that I did on my couch the first time around. We'll look at some comparisons. I'll use the selfie portrait on a variety of different bodies, as you can see back there. And I'll give you a chance to kind of like decide if you think the Hasbro selfie series process might be something you could enjoy. So heck yeah, let's jump right into it, starting out with the figure. The body that they give you, actually, you get a variety of body options. You get Star Wars, Marvel Legends, Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, and Ghostbusters. So you can pick from a variety of different toy lines, and then within that, you get select options. I chose the Black Panther body over Iron Man, over Spider-Man, and then there was another, just because I wanted the Black Panther body. I wanted to be the Puerto Rican Panther. And I accomplished that here, at least in my imagination. So the body itself does have a lot of positives. All the joints are double jointed, of course. You do have a really good butterfly joint. I mean, that is a tremendous amount of range, right? You can pretty much do your Wakanda forever, right? And that is really dope. Plus anything else that Black Panther might want to do. You have a generous ab crunch, both directions. You've got a decent split. Outstanding Black Panther split forward, and then back with the leg. Decent range. You do have thigh swivel, but no boot cut or boot swivel. And you got an outrageously generous toe rocker with really good dynamic range in the toe up and down. So it is a really well articulated Marvel Legends figure. It does not feel wobbly or flimsy. As for the face portrait, I have a video. Actually, you're going to see my likeness, and it'll be unshaven also in a moment when we do the walkthrough of doing your own selfie. But you can decide for yourself how close this is to my likeness. And you'll also see what the selfie series generates, because I'm going to do it all on the fly for you here today. I chose to go with some facial hair, and overall, I think it's a pretty decent likeness. When I first got it out of the package, I was super critical, and I kind of didn't like it. I thought to myself, oh, it's so whack, it's so generic, it looks like everybody else. But then, I let it sit for a few weeks, and one day I wanted to take some silly pictures, and I was like, damn, I wish I had a figure that looked like me. And I was like, oh, wait, I do. And I pulled it out of the box, and suddenly it looked a little better to me. Bottom line is that this is the only action figure I have that looks anything like this. That's a simple truth. And in terms of action figures that look like me, there's only this one. And when I started thinking about it that way, it became way more cool to me. And I just started having fun goofing around taking pictures. So that's what we're going to look at today. Adding this face portrait of me to every different superhero body. And so I can make believe that I'm each one of them. And that is a little bit of fun. Actually for me, it's a lot of fun. But first, let's take a look at what it's like to actually go through the Hasbro selfie series process. So we're going to be going through the app. I have it on my phone. That's how I ordered my first selfie. And that's the process that I'm going to take you through. In order to do that, all you would have to do is download the app. And I believe you would have to create a Hasbro account. With those two things in check, you can go ahead and goof around for free an unlimited number of times as you experiment making your Hasbro selfie. Quick note that I will say also, just like on camera here, you see the lighting. Lighting will affect how you look on your Hasbro selfie. So when you're doing your selfie, I encourage you to take a few different tries at it, use some different lighting, and you'd be surprised how close you get to the best look that you want. So that having been said, let's look at the Hasbro Pulse selfie series creation process. I'm going to pull it up over here on the side of the screen. All right, here we go. Opening up with the dashboard on the app, I'm gonna click for the selfie series. I'll click get started. And it immediately opens up a camera. That's me, thumbs up. And you keep your face there centered. I'm walking back from getting some milk. And you just keep your eyes on the camera, not on yourself. Just a little note on that. It's gonna give you some prompts to turn left or right. And you wait for the prompts. Try not to look at yourself on the screen. Instead, look at the camera where it's positioned on your phone. Try to keep your face still. Despite the fact that I'm moving, you see that it's going to have some decent accuracy. Ideally, you want to be still where the light or the lighting is fixed, as I mentioned. And now it walks you through each step of the process. The same is true during production and delivery. They walk you through the process in a series of emails. And so here we're just waiting for it to go through. It's showing you all the various characters that you can have. Power Rangers, Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe. And this takes a few moments. We won't be on this much longer, maybe another minute or so. And it is generating the face. And boom, it is done. So now you can be the judge. How close is that to the action figure you see on the other side of your screen? Noting that I was walking and I was chewing actually on a peanut chew. Those things are delicious. And here I'm just kind of like scrolling through some of the features of the face tones, flesh tones rather. We're gonna look at some of the different toy lines. So there go your Joes. That's me with hair. That's me as a girl. Ugly. We got some Power Ranger action going on here. And I clicked into the Marvel Legends. I went with Spidey this time. Some different looks at some different hairstyles. We'll take a look at some different colors of hair. You know, so you got some different variations. You got some variations also for facial hair. So I'm gonna go bald. We'll go into the facial hair section. And I don't like how pronounced my mustache is, so I'm gonna give myself kind of like a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. And you can work with your facial hair color. And I would go with that Spidey. And you have your 360-degree rotation. And it gives you a price on the bottom so you can check out and pick up your portrait. Very, very chill. All right, very, very cool, man. Hopefully that's helpful to anybody out there that was on the fence about picking up a Hasbro selfie series. And let's go ahead and jump right in right now to our head swaps. And let's put this head on some different bodies. And we'll pull out Killmonger figure. And the peg is approximately the same size. Snaps right on. In this case, it actually is snapped on. You got a little bit of wobble. With this head portrait, because of the cut of the chin, you see it there. A lot of times you don't get wobble on some of the figures. I was trying it out before shooting the video. You see the scale works extremely, extremely well. The flesh tone is a little bit off, but that's okay because you might have a darker flesh tone than me. And if you create your face portrait, it would look absolutely great on this body, you know? So really cool. You got some decent articulation with it. Even a little bit down. So that would be Happy Pursuits as Killmonger. Anyway, moving on. And we'll give Spidey a shot. It is attached. This is the animated Spidey body, and it is awesome. And for the most part, I think the proportions are pretty decent. I mean, it sticks out there in the back, but that happens a lot with Spidey figures. But here on from the front, I don't know if I'm a believable Spider-Man. I don't know about Spider-Man with facial hair. Otherwise, it fits, it works. You got articulation down. Whoops. You got articulation up. You can rotate. Minimal tilt. But that's a peek at what it might look like. If I were Spider-Man, it could be you. Next up, we have the G.I. Joe Spirit body. And here, the peg is going to be smaller again. But the scale is decent, similar to what we saw with Killmonger. And the flesh tone here, again, is off. But, you know, you could customize your flesh tone, as you saw when you're creating your selfie. So very cool. I'd have to use Ticky Tack again, do some customizing here to get it to kind of like sit perfectly. But next up, we will try the Mafex Cyborg Superman. And as you can see, the peg is way small, but the portrait will rest right over the rest of the neck. And he definitely looks like he has a truncated neck there, but I can work with that and accept it because of how puffy the shoulders are. And you can still see some of his neck there underneath. So it's not like he's a no neck. The color match isn't completely off. There is a lighter flesh tone than this, or sometimes 2 gradients on the app. But otherwise, if I use some Ticky Tack to keep that head stuck there, you know, I like the proportions here. Next up, I'll bring out the Marvel Legends Hercules. And he looks like one of the world's strongest men. No diss to them. Props, props, props. But he just looks like he just is like a massively, massively titanic dude. And the color isn't as bad as the matches on some of the others, you know? But if I wanted to be Hercules, this is passable. And you don't really get left or right articulation on the head because of that cheek sculpting I showed you. But you will get up and you will get down, you know? So I could totally be Hercules and have some fun with that. Today was the first time I actually tried that. It looks pretty cool, pretty funny. All right, let's take a look at a standard 7-inch scale figure. The head doesn't quite snap on. And again, we've got that Hercules vibe. In this case, he's just much, much bigger. You know, so the proportion really is not there in case, unless you wanted to have like a shrunken head Titan kind of thing going on. But we took a look at it. And last and certainly not least, I left Conan for the end on purpose. It does not snap on to the head peg. The head is really small again. So it looks like he left the clinic from Beetlejuice. But I did want to try it. Hadn't tried that pairing either. I hope I gave you a decent look at some of the pairings that you can do across several different lines. In some cases, you might have to do a little customizing, some Ticky Tack to keep the portrait in place. But otherwise, it scales well across some different figure bodies. And of course, even within certain toy lines, you got different sizes of the figures. So that just increases your options. This was a lot of fun today. I'm glad that it was suggested to me in the comments. Thank you so much. So very cool, man. What a time to be a collector. You know, like I have an action figure portrait of myself, you know, and I made it online in a matter of a few minutes, and it got shipped and delivered to me within about 30 days. That's super duper impressive. I think they gave me an estimate online of about 2 months, but I got it within like 30 days. I think it was like day 27 or day 28. So really, really impressive. They send you updates as they're going through the process. So that was really, really cool. It comes in a really nice window box. It doesn't have plastic, and you can see the figure in it. Very, very dope, man. This was a tremendous amount of fun today. I am happily surprised by how much I enjoyed this sharing. And as always, thank you so much for coming out and sharing too in the experience of collecting toys as an adult. And I hope you're able to keep coming back and keep sharing experiences. Until next time, everybody. Thank goodness it's playtime.